With me today is the latest addition to the Mercedes-Benz GLC SUV range. But with a backside like this and a roofline like that, this is the fashionista of the family. Also, what makes it a bit of a rebel is the engine that powers this one. This is a 3-litre twin-turbo V6 that makes 367 horsepower. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the Mercedes-AMG GLC 43 4MATIC Coupe. The idea of an SUV coupe has always been a bit of a hit and miss, but the GLC Coupe's design works. The swooping roof and tight tail gives the GLC some real show value. The quad exhaust, that aerodynamics aiding lip on the boot lid, and those large disc brakes behind the very AMG 19-inch wheels also hint at the performance potential of the GLC 43. I also love how the chunky 255 section rear tires extend out of the bodywork. At the front, the chrome-pinned grille and sporty bumper also tell you this is no regular GLC. For the record, the GLC Coupe is marginally longer and marginally lower than the standard GLC. And what of the cabin? So the GLC 43 Coupe is fairly low by SUV standards. To give you an idea, you sit at about the same height you would in a tall boy hatchback. So you're not really towering over the other road users. But on the positive side, the fact that you're sitting low also gives you a greater sense of connection with the car. As for the other details, well, it is an evolution of what you get in the regular GLC, but AMG has added a bit more color and it has done a lot to the cabin. There's red double stitching all over the place, on the dashboard, on the doors, on the steering wheel and on the sculpted seats. Now the seats, I really like them. They're very supportive and you can also adjust the squab length. Other cool details are the red seat belts that really add color to the cabin. On the whole, it is a very sporty place to be. There is ample equipment on board as well, with a sunroof, Burmester sound system and Merck's Command online system that lets you use your phone's network to connect to the internet. You can hear internet radio stations or even browse websites at long hauls. This being an AMG, the driver's seat is the one to be on, but how's it for those seated at the rear? Well, there's ample legroom, but anyone taller than 5 feet 11 inches will find headroom tight. And the windows aren't all that large either. The hard middle seat will also make the fifth passenger feel like an unwelcome guest on a joyride. And you will have to find a way to place your golf clubs in the boot because the space saver spare tire ironically eats up all the space here. Okay, so it's not the most practical of SUVs, but come on, it's got coupe and AMG in its name. Do note the GLC 43 is not a full-blown AMG, but there's enough of the good stuff too. As mentioned, power comes from a 3-litre twin-turbo V6 that makes 367 HP and 520 Nm. All that power makes its way to all 4 wheels via a 9-speed gearbox and all-wheel drive system that splits torque 31:69 front to rear. The GLC 43 also comes with standard air suspension and there are drive modes for the engine, gearbox and steering as well. Just as we got done filming the static bits of the car, Murphy's Law kicked in and it started pouring buckets. Thankfully, here's a 367 HP car for which that's not a problem. Now, where typical performance car owners will wrap their cars up till the monsoons are over, you won't need to do that with the GLC 43. It's got a degree of everyday all-weather usability just built into it. So it's got ample ground clearance to begin with, then you can lift the suspension and the air suspension as it is rather compliant as well. There are 3 modes for the suspension. Comfort is surprisingly good, Sport makes things firmer but is still usable enough to get you to the good roads, and Sport Plus is the mode to be in when you make it to the good roads. And on the twisties, the GLC 43 is surprisingly good. The GLC 43 does handle like an AMG should, so it's nice and tight and certainly feels a lot more rewarding than the larger and heavier GLE 43. Body roll is well contained, body control is good, and you have the reassurance of grip at all four wheels. The 4MATIC system works really well, and even on a rainy day like this, you don't have that fear of losing the car from under you. Still, if you push the GLC really hard, it'll venture into understeer, and on the whole, it isn't quite as sharp as a Porsche Macan. What there's no taking away from is that this is a fast SUV. Mercedes claims a 0 to 100 kps time of just 4.9 seconds for the GLC 43, and that figure is absolutely believable. This car just builds speed with such manic power and races towards its 6,200 RPM limiter. Now the gearbox is equally fast and really keeps pace with the engine. And should you want more excitement, there is a full-blown manual mode which you can use via the paddle shifters. It'll hold revs, and you also get shift lights at the digital screen in the center console. And last but not least, there's the way the GLC 43 sounds. One of the things at the top of the list of items I like about the GLC 43 has got to be the way it sounds. It's got a sweet V6 soundtrack. So it hums at low revs, rumbles at middle revs, and positively growls when you open it up. This is what cars should sound like. It's so good, you'll actually happily dial down the Burmester sound system just to hear the engine in all its glory. So to recap, the GLC 43 looks different, is comfortable, drives really well, and has a soundtrack to match. And it doesn't end there. With an ex-showroom price of 74.8 lakh rupees, the GLC 43 Coupe is attractively priced as well. Remember, the standard Porsche Macan that costs similar money makes just 250 HP. Seen in its entirety then, the Mercedes-AMG GLC 43 Coupe is one of the surprises of the year so far.
इसी कभी न रुकने वाले जुनून को रफ्तार देता है सर्वो वर्ल्ड क्लास लुब्रिकेंट्स।